Hi, I'm Sarah Forster, Deputy News Editor here at The National, and this is A Closer Look, our opportunity to give you a deeper insight into one of our stories from this week. Now, the Covid-19 pandemic left behind a number of legacies, one of which was the impact it had on the mental health of millions of people across the world. With World Mental Health Day on October the 10th, we will take a deeper look this week into how the UAE responded to this urgent and important crisis. Our health reporter, Nick, joins us here in the office in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for coming back, Nick.
Okay.
So let's talk about the world at large and how COVID has really affected mental health in that way.
Okay, well, Monday is World Mental Health Day, and the theme this year is having a global approach towards mental health. And I think that goes hand in hand with what's happened with the pandemic. It was a global issue, and the fallout from that really has been the legacy of COVID has been the mental health impact on people. Whether that's having more isolation, whether it's people losing their social skills, and no mask anxiety. Now we're getting back to normal, people aren't wearing face masks anymore. That also attracts a certain amount of anxiety, which you reported on for the National. So there's a few issues there which are happening all over the world, not just here in the UAE.
Mm-hmm. But if we turn our attention to the UAE, what's the situation been like here?
Well, we saw services evolve really quickly actually during COVID, and there was always an emerging groundswell of support for mental health services, but that really accelerated during the pandemic. We saw the establishment of a support telephone line for people that were suffering or struggling with being on their own or having mental health issues such as anxiety or depression. And we've seen lots of other support groups also evolve and grow since then, which are then carried forward to continue to offer services today.
So there is help for people that need it. What about when it comes to insurance? How much does insurance cover when it comes to mental health costs?
Okay, well, that's still a little bit patchy in this country, as elsewhere as well in the world. Obviously, it can be quite an expensive process, long-term medication, for example, or holistic therapies, cognitive behavioural therapies to try and deal with any mental health issues. And we see that lower insurance plans tend not to cover this kind of mental health support, although a lot of companies are offering their own programs to support their staff if they do have any of these kind of issues that need to be dealt with. So that is also a sphere which is evolving as we see more companies prepare to support their employees through difficult times.
So there is progress.
Definitely progress, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And obviously, as with any topic, education is often the key. What are the different ways that people in the UAE are learning more about the importance of mental health?
I think it's reducing the stigma, it's about getting open discussion, and we have a responsibility at the paper as well here to try and get people talking about it in the right way. We've had a fellowship with the Carter Centre in Atlanta for several years now, where we have journalists trained up each year to go and learn how to write respectfully and with the right terminology about mental health. That's a very important thing, to make sure that we don't add to the problem almost, and we can try and get people the services they need, signpost, and offer solutions as well to their issues. We did one story that was very powerful maybe 3 years ago about a British guy who worked here called Chris Hale, attempted to take his own life, and he was saved by Dubai police. And he battled depression for many years. He's actually become an advocate now and a spokesperson for better services in the country. He's working with Dubai Health Authority and Dubai Police to set up a support network for businesses who want to help their staff and individuals as well, called Mindforce, and it's a really progressive idea. So that's one area where the UAE is improving. Lighthouse Arabia is another great outlet of support for people. So there are options there in the UAE, and it's something which is improving day by day.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Nick, for coming and having a chat with us ahead of World Mental Health Day, which is on Monday. For now, thank you very much. Otherwise, please join us next time for A Closer Look.